You are Locked On Marlins Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up, Fish fans? Welcome to another episode of your Locked On Marlins Postcast. My name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease, and I am pumped to be with you here today, man. I tell you what, this is a big road trip for the Marlins. They're starting to play a lot better, and they picked up a really good win tonight. A hard-fought, scratched-out, clawed-back type of win, down 1-0. You get no hit for 4 1/3 innings by the ace of the Kansas City Royals, and it just wasn't going your way, and you scratch out a couple of runs later in the game, battle of the bullpens, you win it. You get just enough from Yonny Chirinos, and look at what the Marlins do. 2-1 in Kansas City. They get the win. Nice job by them to, where is this thing? What is going on? Hey, there we go. All right, finally. All right, we got this thing with, there we go, 2-1 win. All right, so we got it. So anyway, long story short, real quick before we get it started, let's get it started in here. Real quick, thanks for making Locked On Marlins Postcast your first listen every day. We are here. We are free. We're available wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, and of course here on YouTube, Locked On Sports Miami. And today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB. Use code, all lowercase, by the way, LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100 with Prize Picks. There you have it. I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. Maybe slide over here just a little bit. Let's slide. All right, this is pretty good, right? You got Chirinos up there. He pitched pretty good tonight. He was dealing in Kansas City, and the kind of dealing that the Marlins need a lot more of day in and day out with this team if they're going to have any kind of chance to do anything this year. But they're playing better day in and day out. Look, they're not a major league hitting team. They're just not. We say it day in and day out. They're not a major league hitting team. They have their moments. They have their times. They have their battles. You love them. You do. But they don't have that big gun in the middle of the lineup. They don't have an ace in the rotation. The closest thing they have to a dominant performer at his position in Major League Baseball right now is Tanner Scott. He's the closer. He's converted 10 out of 12, including tonight in a 2-1 game. He's the best player on this team, and he's their all-star, if you ask me. I don't see anybody else on this team after Arise has gotten traded to San Diego who's an all-star. There's no other all-star on this team. Now, Chisholm, De La Cruz, Gordon, Bell, can they get it going? Can they have decent careers? Can they be 270, 280 hitters with 20 homers and maybe 80 to 100? Maybe. But they don't have that huge presence in the middle of the lineup, and they don't have that ace in the rotation. But, they still managed to get things done. And this is something that's cool about the Marlins. And, when you look at this game tonight, right, they were no hit for 4 1/3 innings. And when you're talking about Seth Lugo, and they don't have Greinke anymore, but when you're talking about Seth Lugo, right, and, Mikal Bridges going to the Knicks from the Nets for Bojan Bogdanovic. Okay, so Mikal Bridges going to the Nets. There you have it. And how about the Panthers last night, Stanley Cup champions? All right, let's get this. And I apologize, guys, getting things started here. Right when the game ended, everything I have crashed. Every single thing crashed. I had to reset everything, redo everything. A lot of steps we have to take to get ready to do the shows. And so I apologize. As we're going here live, I'm actually still opening things and still getting things going. You never let them see you sweat, right? But when you're on live and you have a camera in your face every day for 30 years, you just kind of realize that, what's the worst that could happen? There's a lot of things. But so far, so good, and we're going to keep it rolling here. Just got to get equipment that works. This would be a good start, a good step. Everything freezing all the time on me right now. But everything's been fine since we started, so we'll hold out hope from there as this thing loads and loads and loads and loads and loads. But 4 1/3 innings, you are no hit by the best pitcher on the Royals team, Seth Lugo. And this dude's looking really good, right? Really good. He was looking good, man. That sinker, that slider was looking good. And the Marlins just don't score. I mean, they had 2 runs today, 1 run yesterday. They just don't score. So what happened tonight? Well, they got a little bit of luck on their side. Obviously, that happens in Major League Baseball. And we got right here, if this thing ever loads, It was all pulled up before. So anyway, long story short, it was 4 1/3 innings. They weren't hitting anything off of Lugo. They weren't even making really contact with the ball. He had one walk, and it was a walk to Jake Berger. That was questionable at that. The Royals had scratched across the run on a base hit by Pasquantino. Look, they don't score either. The Royals don't score either. I mean, these two teams might be two of the worst offensive teams in baseball. Not might be. They are two of the worst offensive teams in Major League Baseball. And it just is what it is. It just is what it is. You're not going to get a lot of great offense when these two teams play each other. But, what's good is both teams have pretty good pitching staffs, and the bullpens in particular. In fact, it was one of the best pitchers on either team, Carlos Hernandez, who got the loss tonight. Last night I took a L. He gave up 2 runs in the 7th. But, really, it was 2 infield singles and a bad throw. 2 infield singles and a bad throw is what did it. The infield single was a line drive off the pitcher that was hit pretty hard. So they're not your typical infield single. Let's take a look at how it happened tonight. Where are we in the segment? Let's see here. All right. Good stuff. Here we are, 5:51. All right. Chisholm struck out to start the game. De La Cruz flew out to right, and Bell lined out to right. Nothing doing for the Marlins. We might just put zeros all the way across the board. Meanwhile, for the Royals, in the bottom of the first inning, against Yonny Chirinos, and he easily had his best start of his year with the Marlins tonight, but early on, his pitches were up in the zone. And the Braves, not the Braves, he used to pitch for the Braves. The Royals had a chance to get to him early. He walks Garcia, strikes out Witt Jr. looking, right? Garcia steals second, then third. He's a special talent, man. Pasquantino singles to center, barely gets over the glove. It's 1-0, and then Perez and Massey line out and fly out, or strike out rather. And it's 1 run on 1 hit, and they send 5 guys to the plate, and that was a great start for Yonny Chirinos because his pitches were up in the zone, and they had a chance to get him early. And they didn't do it. And once he settled in, he was lights out. Sanchez struck out looking. Anderson struck out looking. Sandwiched around a Berger walk, and Lopez grounding into a fielder's choice. That Berger walk in the top of the second was the only thing the Marlins would have up until Lugo leaves the game. And don't get me started. I'm going to do this later on in the show and remind me to go in on these starters because 5 innings and 6 innings. You threw 87 pitches, Lugo. Lugo threw 87 pitches. They take him out, bring in relievers too early. The Marlins score 2. Lugo loses a win. How many wins are starters losing these days? Because managers are just, that right arm, that left arm, just stop it. Stop it. You don't need to change pitchers every 5 seconds. It's ridiculous. I'm over it. I can't stand it anymore. They've done things with the hitter's clock. They've done things with the pitcher's clock, with the timeouts you can and can't call. Let's do something with the managers for the number of times you can freaking go out there and visit. I know you limits on mound visits, but what I'm talking about is let's not let these guys change pitchers I guess you can't stop them, but it just drives me crazy. Anyway, sometimes you just talk yourself into a corner before you realize that your point is moot and you might as well just stop because nobody's caring about that at that point in time. Anyway, Marlins in the third. Lugo just dealing. But you know what? Chirinos is too. Pop out, foul out. You know what I mean? He's getting a lot of people are just getting little ticks of the ball off him. And, I love that. And Lugo was doing the same. And you look at Lugo and he's not, the most overpowering guy in the world. He's throwing 91 on the 4-seam, 86 on the slider, though. And then that's, when you're throwing a 4-seam 91 and your slider's 87, that's just not even right. Your changeup's 86, your sinker is 92, and your curve's 81. So you got the 5 pitches. Congratulations to you, and that's why you probably have 10 wins. You could throw 5 pitches for strikes in the majors, you're going to do okay. My best friend's kid is an all-state pitcher and player in Connecticut. He's going D1, Central Connecticut State, but he throws 90. He's in 90 on the gun. And he's got a 4-seamer, he's got a cutter, he's got a slider and a curveball. And I'm like, this kid's going to the show. Teach him the change that the bottom drops out. He's going to the show. Mark my words. Alex Dreyfus, I said it. Right here. So Chirinos in the 4th had a little bit of trouble. Massey with a 1-out double and Melendez with a walk. It's 1st and 2nd with a 1-out. Hunter Renfroe strikes out swinging. Alexander, not so great, grounds out to 3rd. And then the Marlins still doing nothing. They did get 1 hit in the top of the 5th inning. Berger pops out and Lopez reaches on an infield single to 3rd. Otto Lopez, automatic, baby. This is 2 games in a row with 2 hits for him. He steals 2nd, goes to 3rd on a wild pitch by Lugo, but then he gets Anderson, strikes him out, and then Gordon flies out to right. And, he's still at the same velocity and everything. You know what? I'm going to get to that in just a minute. Un momento, por favor. We're about to hit the first break, and when we come back from that break, so I'm going to go in on these starting pitchers today. Chirinos, bottom 5, 1, 2, 3. Isbell grounds out Garcia. Witt Jr., 2 strikeouts in a row to end that inning. He hadn't thrown a ton of pitches. Where are we at with with Yonny. Where are we at here? That's the recap. Where's the box score? Come here for Yonny. Yonny. Managers love to get pitcher happy. It drives me crazy. I mean, every team, 4 or 5 pitchers a game. Come on, man. Whatever happened to starters going long, late in the games? That's an art. It's a lost art, man. I miss seeing those guys get stronger as the game went on, and I don't know. It drives me crazy. A.J. Puck is 2-8. He gets the win. The Marlins lead the league in blown saves. Not Tanner Scott. He's 10 for 12. But that tells you that the short relievers late in the game, the Pucks, the Brasbands, the Fauchés, yeah, you know what I'm saying? But they did great tonight. The Marlins bullpen was phenomenal. So was Yonny had 78 pitches in 5 innings, and they took him out. Middle of the lineup coming up, took him out, bringing A.J. Puck, strikes out 2 in an inning and a third. Hard to argue when it was successful, but man, too many names in the box score. Really? And Lugo, 6 innings, 2 hits, 8 strikeouts on 87 pitches. What do? You take him out. I swear to God, you know, if I'm Brett Saberhagen looking at this, I'm like, man, that's probably the best Royals pitcher that I can remember, Brett Saberhagen. You know, you're sitting there thinking, like, why in the world are you taking this guy out? 87 pitches, 2 hits, 8 strikeouts. They weren't sniffing anything against him. You'd like to think that he aggravated an injury or nicked something because that's just ridiculous. Anyway, you're watching your Locked On Marlins postcast. I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease right here on the YouTube Locked On Sports Miami channel, along with the Locked On Marlins. We do Locked On Canes, we do Locked On Dolphins, and we do Locked On Heat. The postcast for all of those as well coming your way. And how about Locked On Panthers, our podcast of the month? Great job as they win Lord Stanley's Cup for the first time in their existence, and they've become a model franchise in the NHL now. Go figure. We're taking a break. We're coming back with more. Why do starters not pitch longer? How did this one unfold? Nail biter in Kansas City. Marlins win 2-1. Right after this, we get back to more of your Locked On Marlins postcast. First, we always tell you about, there it goes. At Locked On, we always pride ourselves, and this is what our whole network is built on. We pride ourselves on getting you the latest news for your team, whether it's the offseason, the draft, spring training, the playoffs, right? You get the news on your team. It's year-round. You know what else is year-round? Collection season. That's right. Just because tax season is over doesn't mean the IRS is going to stop coming after you for unfiled taxes. They can garnish your wages. The IRS can levy your bank accounts, and they can even seize your property. Don't let the IRS target you. Let the licensed professionals and tax experts at Tax Network USA go to bat for you. With over 14 years of experience and an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau, Tax Network USA has saved their clients over $1 billion in tax debt. Whether you owe taxes, have complicated matters that require tax planning, or finally hit that parlay this season and need help to correctly file, call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/lockedon, 1-800-549-1000, tnusa.com/lockedon for Tax Network USA. You guys know how I feel about the skilled tradesmen out there. The men, the women who make America tick. You're building things. You're fixing things day in, day out. The skilled tradesmen of America. Well, listen up. I got something big for you. That's right. You can get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades, supplyhouse.com. Supplyhouse.com is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business and talk to a real person every time. Pros in the skilled trades can also get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free Trademaster program. Every Trademaster gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at supplyhouse.com/T-M and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at supplyhouse.com. All right, there we go. Question for you as you continue with Locked On Marlins postcast. Thank you so much for making us a major part of your day in and day out. I mean, let's face it, a half hour is a big commitment. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. This team deserves it, man. Only one team can win the World Series every year. Only one team can win the division even every year, make the playoffs as well. But you know what I'm saying? They made it last year. This is an exciting team that loves to play. They come up, they show up every day for you. They show up every day for each other, for the team, for the organization, for the city. I like this team. I like to watch this team day in and day out. They're a lot of fun. And I like to watch a lot of things every day because that's what the world's all about, baby. Content. And one of the things I'm addicted to, I'm watching Locked On Sports Today. It's free. It's 24/7 sports streaming channel program for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. As we're moving right along in the show here today. Boom, boom, boom. All right, there we go. And we're out of there on that one. What do we got here? All right. We got it. There we go. Everything is boom. All right. Sorry, guys. Bear with me here 1 second. And there it is. 2-1. Marlins beat the Royals. And the seventh inning was the crazy inning when you think about it. And that's when the Marlins were able to push a couple of runs across the plate. It was the bottom of the sixth for the Royals. And, dude, still, A.J. Puck comes in. And Pasquantino strikes out swinging. He had has had a big series so far. Perez lines out to left. Those two guys, that's why Puck came in the game. And he got him. Massey strikes out swinging. So, and in between that, you get the line out from Perez. So a great job from Puck. Now, I don't want to take away from what he did. Chirinos was pitching great. It worked out. But I feel like, man, they took a win away from Lugo in Kansas City today, man. That dude deserved a chance to go out there and pitch the seventh, at least the seventh. 6 innings, when you're throwing 87 pitches, striking 8 guys out, you allow 2 hits, and I don't understand. I just don't understand. So anyway, Marlins, top of the 7th with Carlos Hernandez pitching. He of the 2.3 earned run average. Berger strikes out swinging. Lopez doubles to left. Anderson grounds out to second. Lopez to third. Gordon reaches on an infield single to second. Lopez scores. That was hit to the hole. It was a great diving play by the second baseman. They tried to kill their first baseman today. The throw took him wide. He got run into, and Gordon was safe. It wasn't like a dribbler of an infield single. Even Chisholm's infield single 2 hitters later after Sanchez singled and Gordon went to second. Chisholm, an infield single. It was a rocket, a line drive coming right back at the face of the pitcher, Will Smith. He blocks it with his glove, goes out and gets it, throws it away. And the error's on the throw. So it's 2-1 Miami. Infield singles and a bad throw is how you're going to beat this team. The Royals can't score. They have great pitching, but they can't score. You can't score either. Two runs on 4 hits and 1 error in just a comical 7th inning from the Royals standpoint. And then you come out in the bottom of the 7th. Puck gets he gets Hampson, who hit for Melendez to foul out to first. And then Brazoban comes in. Renfroe grounds to second. Alexander strikes out swinging. Marlins in the 8th. Nothing doing. Bell flies out. Sanchez grounds out. Berger doubles, but then Lopez grounds out. And the Royals in the bottom of the 8th. Nothing doing. 1-2-3. Isbell, Garcia, and Witt. Witt strikes out swinging after a couple of groundouts. Good job by Calvin Fauché there. Top of the 9th. Nothing doing for the Marlins. Anderson, Gordon, ground out. Sanchez, strikeout. And then Tanner Scott comes in for the Marlins. Can he nail it down? Can he pick up his 10th save in 12 tries? He made it a little bit interesting, as he did a couple of nights ago. But, yeah, he gets Pasquantino on a big fly out to center. Perez singles to center, and then Blanco runs for him. Lofton hits for Massey. He lines out to shortstop, and then Blanco steals second. Big steal. Marlins tried the replay. He almost came off the bag, not quite enough to overturn it. I thought his foot came off a little bit at the end. Then Hampson grounds out to first. And ball game is over. So really happy to see the Marlins get this dub under their belt, and we are excited for the Marlins to keep moving forward. Look, they come on this road trip. They're going to Philly for 4 this weekend. Really important to get that momentum moving as you're heading toward Philadelphia, man. It is a big, big one. Thursday night it starts, the 4-gamer. Thursday night, 4-game series. Imagine a 4-day weekend in Philly right now. Man, check those prices. Hop on that plane. Get up there to the city of universal hatred for all mankind. I'm kidding. It's the city of brotherly love. Yeah. Anyway, 4 days in Philly this time of year. Mark my words. You want to do it. You absolutely want to do it. Let's look real quick at the box score before we take our final break of the evening. Actually, let's take the break first. And when we come back, we will wrap it up on your Locked On Marlins postcast. 2-1 Marlins win Game 2 in Kansas City. The finale comes tomorrow. We'll get you ready for that one and more. It's your Locked On Marlins postcast right here. Locked On Sports Miami. And then wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes. Here we are. Oh, Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers, and what could go wrong there? All you do is pick more or less up to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become a part of the Prize Picks community today. Just like Meek Mill, just like Sugar Sean O'Malley, you can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks. With as little as 4 correct picks, you can turn $10 into $1,000. If you're looking for promotions, Prize Picks has you covered every week on that too. They lower select player stats projections on Tuesdays to help your lineups hit. They also will give you your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays. How great is that? With the finals over, hoops action doesn't start there, or stop there, I should say, on Prize Picks. Asia Wilson, how great is she? Caitlin Clark, Brianna Stewart, Angel Reese. The girls are balling. And Prize Picks is right there with them, watching them ball out. Prize Picks is available in more than 30 states across the country, including Cali, Texas, and Georgia. Oh, Georgia. So what are you waiting for? Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy with Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Almost said Dalacy. That would have been a good word. I like making up my own words. Dalacy. What's wrong with that? I think that'd be a really good one, and we're going to hide that. Oh, did we get it? Yeah, we did. How about that? Want to remind you one more time, uno más, por favor, that Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. And now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available on the free Fire TV channels app. There we go. All right, working our way through. Let's take a look at the box score. Marlins 2. Royals 1. And the Royals are 43-38. They're a good team. They're a good team, man. And I like Kansas City's team. They got a lot of good stuff going on, minus the fact that they can't hit. They actually have a lot of potential in their lineup, though, and some guys who can put up big numbers, but they're just not doing it. The Marlins are a little different. They just don't have that big gun in their lineup, and that's not an insult to guys like Bell and Sanchez and Berger. They're great if they're in the 2, 5, 6 holes, but a 3 and 4, I mean, no, I don't know. And they don't have a great leadoff guy either. Arise is the perfect 2-hole guy, maybe even a leadoff. I like him in the 2-hole, but he would have been, I mean, he is the best 2-hole hitter in baseball, Luis Arise, and Marlins traded him for a bowl of soup. Anyway, Marlins and Royals tonight. The Marlins, Chisholm 1 for 4. De La Cruz, DLC 0 for 4, struggling a little bit on this trip so far. Bell 1 for 4, but he's still hitting the ball hard. Rivera came in at third base, didn't hit. Sanchez 0 for 4. Berger 1 for 3 with the double. Lopez, another 2-hit game for Otto, scores a run. Gordon 1 for 4 with a run scored and an RBI in the 8-hole. And Sanchez 1 for 3. Now, Gordon's a great 8-hole hitter. Not so much as a 5-hole guy, but Gordon, with his 220, whatever it is, average, he's hitting 280 with 2 outs. And he did the job tonight with 2 outs again. Marlins in the pitching department, Yonny Chirinos, 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 run. It was earned. 5 strikeouts, 78 pitches. They took him out. Anyway, it worked out. A.J. Puck, inning and a third. He gets the win. No hits, no runs, 2 strikeouts. 2/3 for Brazoban, 1 strikeout, no hits, no runs. Fauché, an inning, no hits, no runs, a strikeout. Scott, 1 inning, 1 hit, nothing else. Kansas City, 0 for 2 with a run on 2 walks for Garcia. Bobby Witt had a tough game, 1 for 4. Struck out a couple of times. Pasquantino, 1 for 4 with an RBI. Perez, 1 for 4. Massey, 1 for 3. Lofton, 0 for 1. Melendez, 0 for 1. Hampson, 0 for 2. Renfroe, Alexander, and Isbell, 0 for 3 each. Meanwhile, the Royals pitching. Lugo, 6 innings, 2 hits, 8 strikeouts. Yeah, no runs, 1 walk. 87 pitches, 55 for strikes. You deserve to lose this game for taking him out. You deserve to lose this game, and you lost it for him. It's just ridiculous. Ridiculous, these managers. Musical pitchers, for God's sake. The music stopped tonight on the Royals. Lugo, that's how I feel about that. Hernandez and his .2 whatever ERA didn't do him any good tonight. 2/3 of an inning, 3 hits, 1 run, and a strikeout. Will Smith, Big Willie Styles, all in it, getting jiggy with it. 1 inning, 1 hit, nothing else. Anderson, an inning and a third, 1 hit, and a strikeout. Let's see. The time of the game was 2:23. The attendance was 16,119 in Kansas City, Missouri at Kauffman Stadium, once home to the great George Brett. And we are getting you ready for tomorrow's game now because we're about at the end of the show. And that's all right with me. Good job by the Marlins here tonight. Real quick before we get to tomorrow's game, though, I want to hit the recap, see if there's anything that we missed. We do that every night here on the show. And if you'd have known the napalm that was going off as we were ready to go on, you get all set. You're sitting here for hours. You're watching the game. Everything's all lined up on every screen. All the papers. Trust me. And then, bam, just everything shuts off at once. Crashes, and you gotta love the modern world, but at times it gets a little challenging. All right, here we go. Nick Gordon's infield hit highlighted the Miami Marlins' late 2-out rally for a 2-1 win over the Kansas City Royals on Tuesday evening after collecting just 2 singles and 6 scoreless innings against, Seth Lugo. The Marlins recorded 4 hits in the 7th, scoring both runs with 2 out against Carlos Hernandez and Will Smith. Hernandez is 0-1 on the season. Lopez doubled, Otto did, and scored the tying run on Gordon's 2-out hit. Gordon later scored on Jazz Chisholm's infield hit and Smith's throwing error after a line drive came back at his face. You might make a bad throw, too, in that same scenario. Lopez, 2 hits, has 4 of the Marlins' 11 hits in this series. In fact, the 2 starting pitchers from the Kansas City Royals, it's unbelievable because Reagans and Lugo, Cole Reagans and Seth Lugo, both went 6 innings. I mean, Reagans threw a ton of pitches, over 100, so maybe I understand that. 11 strikeouts for Reagans, 8 for Lugo. Combined, they give up 5 hits. And combined, they only throw 12 innings. There's a reason why the Royals aren't where they should be. So, back to the recap. Chirinos and 4 Marlins relievers retired 15 consecutive Royals. I missed something before Salvador Perez singled 1 out in the 9th. Chirinos permitted a run only his 2nd start of the season. 3 hits and 3 walks with 5 strikeouts in 5 innings. A.J. Puck struck out 2, 4 outs for the win. Tanner Scott, 10th save. Marlins have won 5 out of 7. Lugo spun 4 hitless innings, allowing only a 2nd inning walk. He finished 6 shutout innings, allowing 2 hits and 2 walks, striking out 8. Lugo leads the majors with 110 innings pitched in his 12 starts of at least 6 innings, with no more than 2 runs allowed, our most in the majors. But don't leave him in for the 7th to help him get the win today. Anyway, the Royals took a first-inning lead when Michael Garcia walked, stole 2 bases, and scored on Vinny Pasquantino's single to center. Kansas City managed just 4 hits. They've lost 12 of 16. Will somebody hit the ball tomorrow, please? Series finale is tomorrow. They're expected, the Marlins are, to call up right-handed pitcher Viente Beozo for his Major League debut, and that will be against Brady Singer, 4-4 with a 3.29 for the Royals. And real quick, let's take a look at the numbers for tomorrow's game. I love those numbers. FanDuel. Shout out to FanDuel, one of our great sponsors here. Let's go with the Marlins are plus 195 tomorrow with Viente Beozo. And the Royals, Brady Singer, minus 230. A lot of chalk. You always bet the starter. And then the total is 9.5, over plus 110, under minus 130. Who knows what in the world is going to happen there. But the Marlins get the win. They go to 28-51. The Royals at 43-38 on the season. Kansas City is in 3rd place now in the American League Central. Cleveland is 8.5 ahead of Minnesota and now 10 ahead of Kansas City. So these losses matter for the Royals right now. And, of course, the Marlins played the Indians recently, too, as well. But what a win tonight, 2-1. Hey, you take them how you can get them. The infield singles, the bad throw. When you get a win against the other team's ace and the manager gives you a gift like they did tonight, taking them out after 6 innings with 87 pitches and 8 strikeouts, you're going to take that gift. In the 7th inning, they scored those 2 right after they took him out, and that was all she wrote. And speaking of that, that's all there is, Fish fans. There is no more. Your Locked On Marlins postcast on your Tuesday, June 25th, 2024. I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease at @JimGrease_ on social media. Tomorrow, these two teams wrap up this series. It'll be June 26th, stalling as the page loads. But again, it'll be Belozo brought up for the Marlins against Singer for the Royals at 2:10 p.m. first pitch Eastern Time. 2:10 p.m. first pitch Eastern Time for the rubber game of this series. Royals, Marlins, a game apiece before the Fish fly north to Philly for the 4-day weekend. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate you. Thank you to all of our sponsors on this show, our title sponsor in this episode, Prize Picks, as well as Tax Network, Supply House, and all of you for being here. Keep your game tight and your mind right, Fish fans. We are out.